Hello there. Unemployment in Great Britain has risen surprisingly, and the government is desperate for new sources of income and expenditure that it can cap. All of this could have been prevented. That's what's said by a top economist now. After retiring from the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee, he was finally free. So, what was his conclusion on the economic policy of the United Kingdom? That's what a moderator wanted to know from ex central banker Michael Saunders. It was the perfect transition to an armored reckoning. Economist Saunders, who left the British Central Bank in August 2022 after 6 years at the British Central Bank, did not mince his words in an interview with Bloomberg TV. It was a chaotic period with 5 prime ministers in office and 7 finance ministers, but he wasn't entirely sure about the number, and fluctuations could get confusing. I get confused by all of these switches there. The main thing that sticks with us from this period is that the production potential of the British economy was weak. The economy will not be able to grow more than 1% per year in the near future, and first it will even go down. And that will mean hard struggles over the distribution of living standards and ongoing political arguments about possible tax increases. The reason for this is not primarily the pandemic, but the exit of Great Britain from the EU. The entire British economy has been permanently damaged by Brexit, is what Saunders said. If it hadn't been for Brexit, we probably wouldn't have to discuss an austerity budget. The need for tax increases and spending cuts would not be there, he says. The government faces a major challenge of somehow stimulating economic growth. The signs for this are currently not good. Unemployment in Great Britain has risen surprisingly, contrary to what experts had expected. Unemployment in the UK has been a beacon of light a bit, but now the unemployment rate rose to 3.6% in the period from July to September. That's what the ONS announced on Tuesday. Experts interviewed by Reuters had only expected that it would remain at the previous value of 3.5%. In September, the rate was even 3.8%. And this shows the first effects of the economic downturn in the wake of the energy crisis and the sharp rise in the cost of living, which, according to the Bank of England, is likely to result in a long recession. However, the level of unemployment on the island is still low. The value of 3.5% reached in the first summer months marked the lowest level since 1974. That's the year of my birth. The number of people in work, meanwhile, fell by 52,000 and thus far more than expected by experts who only had expected a drop of 25,000. The number of vacancies fell to 1.23 million in the August-October period. That's the lowest level since the end of 2021. And the British GDP shrank by 0.2% in the summer. At the same time, the inflation rate rose to 10.7% in October. The British Central Bank recently braced itself against escalating inflation with the largest interest rate hike in decades and increased the key monetary policy rate by 0.75 points to 3%. At the same time, the new Conservative government under Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is switching to an austerity course in view of the deep budget deficit. Treasury Secretary or Chancellor of the Exchequer Jeremy Hunt is expected to unveil his public finance recovery plans today, which press reports say include a package of tax hikes and spending cuts that could deepen the looming recession as well. And hasn't happened when you see this video, most probably, so we still have to wait and see. And for all of this, you just could say Brexit means Brexit, but Brexit is still a gigantic mistake, and it will remain one. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.